سلام، من ساناز مزینانی هستم و برای این اکزیبیشن توی گالری استیون بالجر من تقریبا 20 تا کار دارم و همه سوژه کار درباره عکاسیه و کاری که انجام دادم نور رو ثبت کردم روی کاغذ عکاسی، کاغذی که توی darkroom با نور رنگ‌های مختلف این ثبت شده و به جای اینکه عکسی که عکس یک آدم باشه یا یه سن باشه استفاده کردم این عکسایی که فقط رنگ هستن که بعدش این عکس‌ها رو بتونم عوض کنم از یک نوع عکس به یه نوع عکس دیگه، از رنگی به سیاه‌سفید به سبک‌های قدیمی به سبک‌های جدید، که صحبت کنم درباره که چطوری عکس عوض میشه و چطوری اون چیزی که ما میبینیم چقدر فرق میکنه از راهی که استفاده شده که اون عکس ثبت بشه و از دید اون عکاس و از اون مقاله‌ای که باهاش چاپ میشه، چقدر ما دنیامون و اون چیزی که میفهمیم در مورد دنیا فرق میکنه وقتی که یک عکس رو مثلا یه جور دیگه آدم بذاره تا یا یه راه دیگه. In my practice, I really am interested in the photography as subject and to think about how a photograph can shift our perspective about the world, how it can bring us information, how it can, for example, if we think about, if Stephen and I heard Stephen say this before, if you want to think about like the 60s New York, what do you think about? And some people might think about like Gary Winogrand's photographs, and that's kind of what takes you there. And so photography has this ability to capture time and also transport you to a different place and a different time. And so it holds a lot of responsibility in that way. And so I wanted to think about how a photograph can shift our perspective. And to do that, my work often has to do with politics and like the way that certain cultures are imaged. But I wanted to do this on this like really base level and just taking pure abstract forms and lines and see how many times I can change it by going through the materials of photography. So this piece here, I was thinking about the printed image in terms of fashion and advertising. If you guys entered, right now the soundtrack is off, but there is a piece that my brother and I collaborated on, Mazinani, he's here. And so Shift is the soundtrack for this exhibition, but it was originally commissioned by the Bentway. We thank them very much. And Mani and I worked to create a sound piece that talked about shifting, and so it uses recorded sounds of water, lapping of the lake, the sounds of rolling thunder, and also capture sounds from NASA's recordings of the sun's radiation. And so that's kind of one cycle of the sun's radiation comes down to about a minute of sound. So there's this kind of shifting of time and also location. And so throughout this work, viewing each piece has a lot to do with how you approach it too. And so there is no subject, again, because I want people to kind of bring to it what they do, what they will, and their own position kind of reflects into the work content in a way. And then in addition to that, I also worked with a perfumer who's based in Israel, and her and I, Ayala Morel, and I worked to create a scent for the exhibition. So there's a fragrance. You can turn it on and smell it. There's also room sprays that I made 100. So if you want my you can have it. It's the concept of photography is captured as scent in this case. And again, we were thinking about how would you describe a photography as a scent, and thinking about the shifting of a smell, something that you might, an image that might be first recorded and captured, and then how time and change can allow us to see it with new light or differently. And so this scent is also very specific at first, but as it kind of works its way into the room, it changes and takes on its own form. This source image from that photograph was I used to make this one. And then here I wanted to think about consumption, reproduction, the proliferation of the image, the copy of the image, and how often do we actually see a photograph, the multiple of a photograph shown at once at the same time. So that's this group. So really this exhibition is about the process of photography giving like value and weight to each decision that's made specifically to the material. I'm really fascinated with the subject of the mirror and how the history of the mirror kind of really came to, like, the full-length body mirror really became popular in the Victorian era. And so its relationship to our history is very similar to photography, and that photography is also a couple of hundred years old. It's all very new. And so if you imagine before that time, people had handheld mirrors, and that was really the only way you would see yourself. And seeing your full body, your whole physical self reflected was a rare occasion. And so how much does that translate and transfer to the way that we perceive ourselves? And so this exhibition is about photography, but also about how we perceive the world through photography. And so that's why I wanted to include this mirror here. The lenticular is really simple, actually. It's one of kind of the funnest pieces for me in the show to make. It's the image on the far right on the wall, and it's basically very little color in that. So what I did was I took the image, and you can see the original here, and it's literally chroma shifts. So it's just taking the same lines and just going through color variations of it. شاید برای اینکه من خب از تورنتو بودم و فکر کردم که اینجا نه که کار جدیده، برای اولین بار یه راحتی حسی داشتم که اینجا افتتاحشه.